support our work, you can leave a paid comment. It's called a super thanks. So those are the rules. And if you wouldn't mind talking vigorously with each other in the live chat as well, because the more our content is engaged with, the more the algorithms serve it up in front of other people. So if you've got something in your mind to say, you can say it for free in the live chat, and it's helpful to us. And, you know, you get it out of your system too, so you don't take it home to your family. Okay, let's get into the WEF, the World Economic Forum. For those of you who don't know, and I don't know how you couldn't, it is the annual gathering of the control freaks, the power brokers, and the climate oligarchs over in Davos, Switzerland, a charming little resort town akin to Banff, I would say. And they just descend on this town like a plague of locusts. They take over everything. They take over the buildings. The MSNBC took over the church last year.
The church. I will never forget seeing that. Yeah.
It's about right. And we have Avi Yamini from Australia, Ezra Levant from Toronto, and their videographers Benji and Lincoln on the streets of Davos, because there is no parliamentary press gallery acting as gatekeepers over there, okay? And Switzerland has a very strong commitment to freedom of the press. And so our guys are doing work on the streets, and wouldn't you know it, ran into a drama teacher and an astronaut on the streets. We're going to give you a sneak peek of Ezra just bumping into Katy Perry and her boyfriend, Justin Trudeau, having a leisurely stroll on the streets of Davos, where he no longer has the RCMP security detail keeping him safe from dangerous ideas. So let's watch.
What do you make of the Federal Court of Appeal upholding the ruling that your martial law was illegal? They said you violated...
It's good to see you, Ezra.
That's just a little sneak peek. So you could see Ezra asked and Justin Trudeau what awkwardly couldn't answer the question. Katy Perry just got her head down. She doesn't know what's going on. But good to see you, Ezra. Well, you could have seen us more, but you kept calling the police on us.
Right. Yeah. What an inauthentic thing to say to Ezra. Good to see you, Ezra. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm not surprised that even though Justin Trudeau may not have his RCMP security detail, I can confirm that Katy Perry does travel with her own humongous security team. I had the good fortune, I don't know if I've told this story on the air before, but I had the good fortune or bad fortune of meeting Katy Perry at one point. She's got an extensive security team, but I very nearly, I was hiding a twin pregnancy. My twin pregnancy was a Sheila. It was a big surprise. Nobody knew I was having twins.
I didn't know.
Nobody knew. I kept it a secret until there was 2 babies in my arms. But I was pregnant with secret twins. I met Katy Perry just when she was married to Russell Brand, and before Orlando Bloom, right? So she was in this sort of romantic lull. And I considered, just for a quick second, suggesting to Katy Perry that she should get her eggs freezed. Like, just freeze your eggs, Katy Perry. I thought to myself, I should just tell her that, just a piece of advice. And then I met her, and she was so soulless and vapid and dumb that I was like, no, never mind. I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to give her advice, that advice. I'm just going to move along. Thanks so much. Yeah. But she was soulless and vapid. So these two people are absolutely made for each other.
I'm so glad you didn't give that advice, because that would have been the potential for another Trudeau.
I know. This is why I'm so delighted. A little voice in my head was like, Lise, don't encourage her to do this. We don't want more of this in the world. We want less. Yeah. They belong together.
There's a full video to come with the walk and talk with Trudeau. He was asked about Carney, China, censorship, of course, who's paying for his trip, and the Emergencies Act.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
That is not the only VVIP that the boys ran into. But we're going to keep
Oh.
that one, our powder dry on that one, because I think it's just as good if you're a Canadian. I think it is just as good. Like, and I think more relevant lately. We'll just say that. If you want
Can't
to
wait.
support their trip over there, it's wefreports.com, I believe, Olivia. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they're not staying right in Davos because it's too expensive. I think they're up the road in Closters. They take the train in every day to save costs. But Switzerland is a very expensive place. $6 for coffee there. Like, it's crazy. And you've seen the rate at which I drink coffee. Like, I had a perpetual anti-caffeine headache when I was there last year. I wasn't at my best. But it's all running around outside. You have to just stand outside and hopefully somebody walks past you and you've got your people looking in all directions so that you can sort of get someone as they walk by. So it's a lot of work, and you don't do this journalism unless you're just standing there watching. And you can't play on your phone, you can't pass the time, you can't do anything. You're just looking.
People watching. Yeah.
It's stressful. It's like being in a deer stand.
It's a ton of work, an absolute ton of work. I saw a little image that they went to the airport to look at the private jets, because that's what I'm interested in. Like, show me the modes of transportation for these elitist climate alarmists, and then show the regular people how the regular people get to Switzerland. You know, drastically different.
Yeah, they have a so
there it is.
We went up there last year. Where's the snow? We went up to one of these last year. You have to take a train to get to it, like a train ferry. And I think this is some of my footage from last year. They helicopter them in from the private airstrip to a private helipad that they build in Davos. And so we caught the Saudi princesses coming in on their private helicopter. But it's something.
And imagine all of these people leave this conference and tell the rest of us how awful we are for killing Mother Earth. All of these, that is their goal in life, is to make laws and make policy around protecting the environment, and then they behave like this. I mean, are you guys going to take advice from these duplicitous buffoons?
Yeah. Just think about that. When you're filling up your minivan, paying an extra 7 cents a liter for the clean fuel standards, and you're like, oh, they took a private jet into the private airport, and then they took the private helicopter in, and they built a disposable helipad for these people. Give me a break. Give me a break. If they start living like the world is going to end because of climate change, I might take them seriously. Like, look, I'm not going to change any of my habits. I'll actually burn more cardboard, but I at least would believe that they were sincere.
Right.
But they're not. It's just about controlling you.
And one-upmanship, right? Because all of them are in the same room together. So it's like, it's an exhibition for extraordinarily wealthy losers who have nothing better to do than to pick on the rest of us on account of their environmental hysteria. It's crazy.
I would like, if you want to change the world in like a genuinely tangible way, have some kids. Don't go around controlling my life. But a lot of these are
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Except for you, Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau, not you.
No.
Don't listen to that.
But like, a lot of these people are just self-sterilized weirdos who see that children are a plague upon the earth. And do they just see like a climate footprint of children and pets? And so they don't see the world that way. But yeah, if you want to change the world, have a real tangible impact on society, raise a bunch of good kids.
Yeah. Like me. Like Sheila.
Like us. Where I tried to reach my daughter over the weekend, and she was like, "Mom, I'm in church," which was very cute.
Why aren't you answering your phone? I was in church. Oh,
we were in church. Never mind. Thank you.
Good to see
Thank you for being a good girl. Let's go to Carney. He's at the World Economic Forum. Is this clip? Yes, this is him at the World Economic Forum. defending his, I guess, new arrangement with China.
Mhm.
No, I think we're looking at different clips here, Olivia. Oh, sorry. I am out of order. You are right. I'm very sorry. Carney suggests middle powers. Is that what he thinks Canada is? Middle power? Are we a middle power? I don't know. Face new challenges in the rules-based order that no longer functions as advertised. These passive-aggressive wine moms and their sideways swipes at Trump all the time. Like, just say it. Don't be like the white Range Rover wine mom with her Stanley Cup. Like, that's how they are. They're just so passive aggressive and
Yeah.
snide. It's so unbecoming of a man. Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Brookfield says what?
Brookfield? Yeah.
Brookfield says what?
Also, that's just being a superpower. Like, why is that a bad thing? Anyways, let's watch this passive-aggressive wine mom.
Argue the middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. But I'd also say that great powers can afford for now to go it alone. They have the market size, the military capacity, and the leverage to dictate terms. Middle powers do not.
Okay,
but when we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness. We accept what's offered. We compete with each other to be the most accommodating. This is not sovereignty. It's the performance of sovereignty while accepting subordination. In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice: compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact. We shouldn't allow the rise of hard power to blind us to the fact that the power of legitimacy, integrity, and rules will remain strong if we choose to wield them together. Which brings me back to Havel. What does it mean for middle powers to live the truth? Well, first, it means naming reality. Stop invoking rules-based international order as though it still functions as advertised. Call it what it is: a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion. It means acting consistently, applying the same standards to allies and rivals. When middle powers criticize economic intimidation from one direction but stay silent when it comes from another, we are keeping the sign in the window. It means building what we claim to believe in. Rather than waiting for the old order to be restored, it means creating institutions and agreements that function as described.
A new world order?
And it means reducing the leverage that enables coercion. That's building a strong domestic economy. It should be every government's immediate priority.
What on earth? I tried to write it down and I was sort of stunned by what he said.
Me too. Okay, what did you write down? Give me your notes.
I wrote down Monroe Doctrine, because when he's like, as the middle powers, we have this sort of power if we band together, but it's like, no, you don't. Do you see what just happened to Venezuela? You guys don't have any power. Nothing.
That's exactly what I thought. So here we have the US, China, and India as well-established economic superpowers or super countries on the globe. And then so what Mark Carney wants to do is come along and cobble together a whole bunch of little ragtag European nations plus Canada, don't forget Canada.
Yeah, whose GDP numbers are a nightmare, by the way.
To create a rivalry. Like, I don't like any of that language whatsoever.
Right.
None of this. It's about live the truth is what I wrote down. Is that what he said? If we want to live the truth, we have to define. Listen, Mark Carney, you sound like you took too many NyQuil last night. That's what that speech sounds like to me. And the show of hands group chat in the live chat, how many of us voted for a new world order? Like truly, how many of us voted for a new world order? Mark Carney claims that the old world order, is not coming back. So he's going to create what's, Mark Carney's saying, guys, we have about 2,000 years of experience behind us with, developing institutions and policies that really work. But you know what? I know better than all of those people combined. We're going to do something new, and I'm the guy. Like, meet the new guy. I'm the new guy. Mark Carney, what are you even doing?
He said something about acting the same or dealing the same with allies.
With rivals?
With allies as with rivals.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a bizarre
is that your
statement.
excuse for saying we should act the same with France as we do with China, as we do with the Americans? Because I feel like we should not be treating those three the same.
Oh, I can't wait to hear Mark Carney take side swipes at Xi Jinping about the same way that he takes swipes at Trump. I can't wait for it, because if we're treating them all the same, well, then you better be up the hind ends of the Iranians. You better be talking smack about the Chinese. You better be talking smack about Indian leaders. Like, if we're treating all of them the same, well, then Mark Carney, we want to see this energy come out of you on all those countries too, not just Trump.
Imagine saying that you should be acting the same with an adversarial spy country that meddles in our elections, like China, which abducts Canadians like China, sends over spy balloons like China, as we do with the Americans, with whom we share the world's longest undefended, peaceful border, our single largest trading partner.
Imagine. Culturally
compatible, and nobody bothers us because they have the might of the U.S. military next door. Imagine thinking you need to have the same style of relationship between those two countries. No. You know what I didn't hear from any of the World Economic Forum today? We better fix what we've done with the United States.
Right.
None of that was said, not even once, from any of these leaders. And I listened to Macron in his sunglasses today. Nobody has said, you know what? We have to figure out a way forward with the Americans. Mm-hmm. Everyone is saying around the Americans, cobble together some sort of new European bloc that includes Canada. No, thank you. They're not even saying we need to figure out a way in the world with the Americans. They're just think that they're going to isolate the world's largest economy and it's going to be okay for your economy. That's not how it works, fellas.
No, it really doesn't. This is not going to bode well.
We've got Mark Carney defending his recent trip to China and his meeting with Xi Jinping. I haven't watched this. I can't wait to see this. I'm already disappointed and anxious.
Also, a big theme of your speech was the need for middle powers to work together. But you've just been to the other great power, to China. And I think people are very intrigued by seeing that meeting. And some people say, kind of, that's a mistake, really, because, you're going to make yourself more dependent on China. They're not that benign either. The US will be very annoyed. What's the defense of what you're doing, and what do you hope to get out of it?
Well, the first thing is to say it's not a defense. It's an I know the way you framed the question, but it's offense. It's building out. It's something positive as opposed to against. We're for something as opposed to being against. The second is there are very clear guardrails in that relationship. I spoke of calibration of relationships in my remarks. That's what I mean by it. But within those clear guardrails are huge opportunities in energy, both clean and conventional, obviously in motor vehicles, in agriculture, in financial services, all of which is mutually beneficial. So it's additive. And look, it's the second largest economy and it's our second largest trading partner. We should have a strategic partnership with them. Within those guardrails, and that's what we've achieved.
And it is an interesting reversal, though, because I think certainly during the Biden administration, there was this sense that the Western world was trying to decouple from China, or de-risk at least, and is now in this new world, that really going to go into reverse, and de-risking from China because there are other risks is less of a thing.
You need, again, many in this room, this is their livelihood, you need a web of connections. And to miss out in that web some of the largest ones, United States, we already have that, China, India, Mercosur, European Union, that's a mistake. That's not managing your relationships properly. That makes you stronger, makes you more resilient. And then on top of that, I'll give you again, I'll appeal since it's in the headlines to the Nordics. Nordics plus Canada, it's 20% of global GDP. It's not the first thing people would realize, but that relationship, which is deepening for security reasons, because we're like-minded, those are the types of partnerships that I think we'll see more of.
What?
Like, did anybody mention that they're communists? Like, did anybody on that, like, did anybody in that room just be like, yeah, Mark, all that is fine and good, and it's all additive, and it's all positive, and they're the second largest, and they're super important, but they're communists. And if we're getting into bed with communists, is that going to serve the people of Canada? Is that going to serve the people of Canada? Importing Chinese communism into Canada, is that gonna bode well? Like, he made an announcement last week about, Canadian intelligence agencies and Chinese intelligence agencies working more closely together. This should be of huge concern to the Americans, and it is. Mark Carney has been getting his backside handed to him by the Americans since announcing this last week, and this just feels like a really contrived PR move in Davos to manage the blowback that Carney is hearing from the United States. But that's what Davos is. It is a PR festival. It is a PR festival. And we saw it right there.
Nobody is pointing out, or maybe we've just all forgotten, that the Chinese have a 100-year plan, okay? A 100-year plan to take over the world. Like, they say it's to replace America as the world's leading superpower. But if you replace America as the world's leading superpower, you are running the world.
How many years into the 100-year plan are we? Does anyone know?
50. No, 75, sorry. So it's called this, there's also the second century. It's a long-term goal that extends to this, like the 100 years of the People's Republic of China founding in 2049. And I think we're halfway through the 100-year plan, but like they have serious goals for themselves by 2049. So the objective is for China to become a modern socialist country that's prosperous, strong, civilized, and harmonious. And they have basically, it's their plan to take over the world. They use the Belt and Road Initiative, which is building out Chinese infrastructure in willing countries. It's in BC already. It's in Africa. We see their aspirations with Greenland. And Mark Carney is cozying up with them and their aspirations to take over the world. We've got the minerals they want. We've got the oil they want. But you know who else wants that? The Americans. We just have to figure out how to get along with them like we used to.
Right.
But
Like
instead,
up
we're
until
not doing
5
that.
minutes ago, truly, up until 5 minutes ago, we had a great relationship with the United States of America, and that was flushed down the toilet for political expediency by the Liberal Party of Canada. And now they're forced to quickly scrabble and try and build all of these new relationships to try and make up for the shortfall that they caused. I mean, they could have just been decent. They could have just been decent.
Oh, God. It's and all of this, what do you think Trump's thinking watching this?
Oh, I think he's going to have some things to say.
Like,
Can't wait.
the interviewer even gave away his bias. I don't know who is interviewing Carney there, but said, oh, China, they're also not all that benign, as if the Americans are bad guys too.
Right.
Yeah. We've got Carney saying the quiet part out loud like he did with the New World Order. He weighs in on what it means to be a globalist.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I'll find out together.
Let's watch.
A final question. President Trump and a lot of people who agree with him condemn globalism a lot. And I suspect, you would be the kind of epitome of a globalist. You worked for Goldman Sachs, I believe. You were a central banker. You're comfortable and lived in several countries. Is globalism, first of all, is it a thing? And is it over?
At the World Economic Forum.
I think, well, look, understanding how the world works, having an appreciation for other cultures, understanding the connections, and being able to, or at least appreciating ways that how we connect, whether it's through technology, trade, investment, culture, can enrich our lives, and that's a good thing, and also help solve problems. Being detached from where you live and the broader needs of society, there is an epithet for that. I don't know that the G word is the one. There's certainly what we're finding, and to go back to the points I was making, is that there are a number of like-minded countries that want to work through partnership to achieve those goals for their citizens and for the world more broadly. The call is for more to recognize what's really going on right now, and to pool their resources to the benefit of citizens. So it won't be global, it won't cover the globe, but it will be more powerful.
What?
Wow, that was a fancy word salad to not answer the question.
What he said.
Nope, me neither. I think Mark Carney's understanding of the word globalist is a lot different from what you and I would say.
Well, and what a bizarre question, because it was, when they're talking about like what even is a globalist, and it's like, I don't know, two dudes on a stage talking about how they're going to ally with China at the World Economic Forum gathering of climate oligarchs and control freak busybodies. What even is a globalist? I don't know, guys. You're at the meeting of them.
Right.
I don't know. What kind of dumb question is that? What even is a globalist? I don't know. On World
Wow.
Economic Forum, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that his answer was just so disjointed and nonsensical. I mean, just Mark, it's you. Like that
Right.
is what you are. Yeah, we called it before you did, and so you're having a
Right.
hard time coming to terms with the truth. But that's what that is. People
Right.
that jet off to meet with other unelected elitists to conjure up a whole bunch of bad ideas and then export them back to their home countries.
Right.
I want nothing to do with what gets decided at Davos. Absolutely nothing.
Right. Here,
Good
let
will
me
come out of
explain
there.
a globalist to you. Somebody who is a power broker and who goes to Davos, where you are right now, Mark Carney, and then discusses ideas that are good for the world according to them and their interests. The good of the people of the place you represent be damned.
Right.
That's it.
Like they're
So yes, you are a globalist, Mark Carney.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark Carney also met his now that he's fallen out with Doug Ford, sadly.
Oh.
He saw his buddy Emmanuel Macron, who I've been joking all morning that he looks like that guy in the produce section that you absolutely know is on cocaine, but he's not. Apparently, he has decided to wear my blue mirrored Michael Kors sunglasses to meetings because apparently he has a medical condition. He has a ruptured blood vessel, I think, in his eye. And I don't know how he got that. I think we'll all just speculate internally. But that's
I bet Brigitte took another swipe at him on a jet. I bet that's what happened, because that's what abused people do, is they wear sunglasses in the daytime and in weird places to hide all of their bruises. And so maybe
I'm curious to
Brigitte,
see if
what'd
he's
you
got a bouquet
do?
of flowers somewhere.
What'd you do, Brigitte?
Yeah, but I mean that obvious, that hug and hearty handshake, that's there to make Doug Ford jealous, obviously. That's what people like that do. We've got
Imagine Doug seeing his boyfriend hugging a new boyfriend. It would just, oh, his poor heart.
his poor heart. We all know how that feels. Let's go to French President Emmanuel Macron. We clarify, wearing sunglasses due to a health condition. I have those exact sunglasses. Finishes his WEF speech on the global agenda by taking an obvious passive-aggressive swipe against the Americans, talking about the rule of law, predictability, and loyalty. Like, as to say, you can come to us, baby, because you can't count on Trump. As if the America is some lawless hellscape akin to,
Right.
well, I guess Somalia.
Right.
Let me insist, and I will stop here, on the fact that we have a high-quality infrastructure and large market with strong purchasing power. And we have a place where rule of law and predictability is still the rule of the game. And my guess is that it is largely underpriced by the market. And beyond what you can do in terms of investment, what you can do in terms of strong ambitions, having a place like Europe, which sometimes is too slow, for sure, and needs to be reformed, for sure, but which is predictable, loyal, and where you know that the rule of the game is just the rule of law, it's a good place. And I think this is a good place for today and for tomorrow. So we will be committed during 2026 to try to deliver this global agenda.
That's good enough. Why? Why take the run up on Trump? Why? You know what he's saying here? He's saying that America doesn't follow the rule of law,
That they're
that it's
unpredictable,
unreliable,
and that they're
and
disloyal. Yes.
That's what he's saying here. By the way, does he not look like the French race car driver from Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby? What was his name? Jean Girard? Jean Girard. There's something about how he talks. I think it's maybe because my ear is accustomed to Quebecois versus
Right.
classical French, but there, he looks like Jean Girard
From Talladega Nights.
from Talladega Nights.
I have to take your word for it, girlfriend. I've never, every time you bring up a Talladega Nights reference, then I'll have to go Google
How
it.
did you
after.
raise boys in your household and not see that movie 100 times?
Oh, well, they saw different ones.
Let's go to Trump being asked if he invited Putin to be a member of the Board of Peace. Please.
Have you invited President Putin to be a member of the Board of Peace?
Yeah, he's been invited.
Do you have any response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well,
Yeah.
nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is if they feel like Costo, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join. If he said that, you're probably giving it to me a little bit differently. But if he actually did say that, but as you know, he's going to be out of office in a few months.
That's how you deal with them. That's just how you deal. That's how he has to deal with them. Just like that. Yeah. You wanna talk tough? Well, let's talk about tariffing your
Right.
wine, France.
Yeah. I mean, try to middle power your way out of what Trump's going to do to you.
Right. Band together. Hold hands.
Yeah.
Don't separate. Hold on to the rope, guys.
Yeah.
France, Canada, UK, the Nordic countries.
None of them are saying we need to figure out how to get along with the Americans. They're all like, you know what? We need to make new alliances with the Chinese, which is
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Just
insane.
absolutely insane. And it fulfills the 100-year plan. that marathon to world domination that the Chinese have obviously been working on quietly for 50, 75 years.
Yeah, again, anybody in the live chat, if you have voted for Chinese domination, please let us know in the chat. Or if you haven't, if you didn't vote for Chinese domination, let us know.
We've got Anita Anand, our foreign affairs minister. She's asked in Davos if the Canadian military is considering scenarios to defend the country in the event of an American attack. Again, I tell my constant joke, what are they going to do? Go get the box of tampons out of the men's room and fling it at them? Let's watch.
Sir, is the Canadian government, is the Canadian military looking at scenarios to defend Canada in the event of an American attack?
The work that we are doing in terms of foreign affairs is to grow the Canadian Armed Forces, to invest significantly in the Canadian Armed Forces, and to always ensure that the defense and protection of our country is first and foremost on top of our list of priorities. In terms of CAF planning, those are questions for the Chief of Defense Staff, and I refer you to them.
I'm just looking up some numbers here. We have 73, 71, 72,000. Okay, so just for comparison, the Canadian military has about 71.5 regular force and another 30,000 reserve members. Okay. Her plans to grow the CAF, Canadian Armed Forces, is to grow it from 71-ish up to 86,000 by 2040. They already have a crisis of retention and recruitment, obviously. The American military has 1.3 million active troops and another 80,000 National Guard, or 800,000 National Guard. Okay, their National Guard stands more than 10 times higher than our active service members. Also, no, there's no possible way that we can defend ourselves from an invasion by the Americans. But also, those 1.3 million troops are the reason we have never been invaded by anybody. And that should have been the answer. In fact, the answer should have been, I reject the premise of your question. The Americans are our friends.
She could have done that in her $500 silk scarf. She could have done that. But she didn't.
Right.
But she didn't. She just repeated the talking points of the Liberal Party of Canada, who has overseen the destruction of our military in the last 10 years, where guys that signed up just checked out and went, this isn't for me anymore. Like, this doesn't represent me. This isn't what I want to be doing. And it's not something that I can support. What concerns me about her numbers there is that I don't think that those new recruits into the Canadian Armed Forces are going to be Canadian. That's the thing that concerns me most.
That or DEI recruitment standards.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? 100%. They're not going to be Pete Hegseth's warriors.
Right.
But yeah, like a normal foreign affairs minister would say, what a crazy question to think that the Americans would militarily invade us. The reason we've never been invaded is because of them. They are our friends. But no, she didn't say that because she's not bright and they don't see the Americans as our friends, which is a stupid way to be.
Well, and the MSM is getting a lot of traction on fear-mongering stories that are triggering boomers and Eastern Canadians into thinking that Americans are our biggest threat, whether it be militarily or societally.
Yeah.
And so that question, Sheila, was delivered to appeal to those viewers.
Oh, for sure. Let's hit an ad break and we'll come back on the other side because Doug Ford is still on it about being betrayed by Mark Carney over the EV vehicle deal. And I couldn't be more pleased about it. And then we'll talk about why our boomers are better than their boomers. And then I think we've pretty well run out of time.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the rest tomorrow.
Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all-Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.
Gun bans make great distractions.
Trudeau may be gone, but Carney has picked up his same rhetoric.
We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of
Hunters, collectors, competitors, and defenders of tradition are still being targeted, while criminals run wild under Liberal policy. But we are fighting back. Join us, Canada's National Firearms Association, in defense of freedom.
Canadians know the national anthem. They stand in silence to remember those who died for this country. But not every Canadian knows their rights and freedoms. The Freedom Passport will change that. It looks and feels like a Canadian passport, but contains the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in a portable, easy-to-read format. The Freedom Passport. Order one for yourself and for all the freedom lovers that you love at freedompassport.ca.
All right. Doug Ford having a bad week. He sees his ex-partner embracing with Emmanuel Macron, and he was betrayed earlier in the week because Mark Carney has decided to allow Chinese electric vehicles back into the country. And Doug Ford is very heartbroken because that was a protectionist policy to defend these heavily subsidized yet completely non-existent electric vehicle market and production in his home province at the expense of Western farmers, as you know, regular viewers of this show will know. So he's mad still, seething even, and couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Let's watch.
Doug, yes.
Let's watch.
What evidence do you have that these Chinese EVs would spy on Ontarians or listen to their phone calls? What are you basing that on?
Oh, it's very simple. When the Prime Minister and his team are over there, they use burner phones. You're making a deal with a country with burner phones, and Prime Minister did mention when he got elected that the #1 country for national security threat is China. And we know when you hook up your phone, they're going to be listening. Simple as that. And anyone who doesn't believe that is very, very naive. So we're going to...
But by that logic, are you concerned about the Chinese-made phone in your pockets, or your iPhone is made in China? Are you concerned with that?
I'm concerned about cybersecurity and the threat of China. That's what I'm concerned about. So we're going to always make sure that we think twice before we have countries come in here and we get nothing back. We get absolutely, Ontarians get nothing back but a threat of jobs in the auto sector.
Is Doug Ford aware of where Olivia Chow is from? Do you think?
She's from Hong Kong. That's fine.
Do you think?
But the Americans don't let these vehicles into their country for a reason. And in fact, Poland has banned them from military bases because they spy. So they haven't banned them from the country altogether, but they have banned them from high security facilities because the cars themselves are spying. And I like how, like Doug Ford finally, a squirrel sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut, and he is the blind squirrel, and he found that acorn because he actually is right about these cars spying on people. But I just couldn't happen to a nicer guy to be betrayed by Mark Carney. Now you know how everybody else feels.
A more deserving guy. Yeah. Doug Ford seems to be really, really perplexed as to how he could have been double-crossed by Mark Carney. Maybe if Doug Ford had spent some more time listening to this program, he would have understood that Mark Carney was acting in the best interest of Brookfield when he did that that deal with the Chinese last week on the EVs. Because who you ask makes the batteries for the Chinese EVs? Who is it again? Oh, it's Brookfield. So Doug Ford just can't believe that he's been betrayed like this by his lover. He just can't believe that his lover would do this to him. And Doug better get used to it. I think Doug's gonna be losing a lot more. Oh, by the way, just real quick, can I tell the people what I sent to Doug Ford, Sheila Gunn?
Let's keep it for tomorrow.
Oh, okay. We'll save it for tomorrow. Oh, yeah, because we only got a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
We'll show you what we sent Doug Ford tomorrow.
Now, a lot of you out there in the other parts of the country, if you are of a certain vintage, and I'm quickly approaching it, some of you get mad when I talk about the voting habits of Eastern boomers, but the voting habits are the voting habits. And if you didn't vote for Mark Carney, I'm not talking about you, so quit getting mad at me. But it is true. The Eastern boomers are on a steady diet of CBC, and they vote a certain way. And that way is selfish. Yes. They are anti-civilization. And I mean that in a way that the older generation has always sacrificed so that the younger generation had it easier, a longer life expectancy. We're a little bit more wealthy, a more comfortable. That's how society moves forward. That's how civilization has moved forward always. Mm-hmm. And suddenly it's been flipped on its head, at least by the older generation in some parts of this country. And there is never a better example than that boomer who gave, I think it was Karima, the finger, and he became the symbol of the Carney voter because he bought his $2.1 million Markham house for a penny whistle and a moon pie back in, 1972, and basically given the young people the finger. Well, out here, our conserva boomers, let's call them bloomers, blue boomers.
Bloomers, you guys, they have the boomers, we have the bloomers.
Ours are different. Why? Because they lived through one Trudeau and the hell that it inflicted on them. And that weaponized a lot of them. They've been quiet separatists for 2 generations now, and now they see it as their time. And the ones I spoke to at an independence event in Drayton Valley, Alberta, that we went to on Friday, every single one of them said that they weren't there for themselves. They said, I am here for the grandkids. I'm here for the young people. A lot of them said, I'm old. I'm never going to see the true manifestation and the benefits of Western separation, but the young people deserve it. And so they're willing to do the hard work and put their name on the list. Anyways, my video is out. We don't need to watch it, but you will see the bloomers, the conserva boomers.
They're so sweet.
Being something totally different than those indignant, selfish, Eastern liberal voting boomers. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, we had the same. We had the same in Saskatoon at the Religious Freedom Town, Andrew Lawton's Religious Freedom Town Hall. Yeah. Our bloomers. One of the ladies said something really interesting. She said it sounded like she was saying that she knows that they are out of step with their cohort. They know that something has gone terrible wrong with their cohort, but it's because they care so much about the next generation, their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, that they are feeling compelled to act in this moment. So bloomers are the best, man. Like we got the best experienced, wisdom keepers. Yeah, we got the good ones, the bloomers.
Like like I said, it's so anti-civilization. Like the point of moving civilization forward is that each one tries to leave this place better for the generation that comes behind us. And they're not doing that anymore.
No, they've abdicated. I'm going to do what's best for me until I die. Next generation be damned. That's the problem. That's the entire problem.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, I think we hit all the headliners. We've got a few chats, and then I've got to get out because I got a story to do, and I'm going to do my best to get to an independence event tonight as well, if I can. I'm going to try to cover as many of them as possible, time and other obligations permitting. We've got Politicians Never Lie gives us $5.02 and says Sheila nailed it, describing Little Carney as passive aggressive. Terrible leader. Yeah, it's passive aggressive. And I think by and large, the international perception of Canadians as nice should be that we're passive aggressive.
Agreed.
We're not all that nice.
Mm-mm.
We're and again, if you're not passive aggressive, I'm not talking about you. Don't send me an email. Do gives us $5 and says, Mark Carney, spare us your presence. Oh, he's taking a victory lap around us at the World Economic Forum. That's what he's doing. Coming back victorious. Sevenfold 7777 gives us $5. How did Carney get into power? Electronic voting machines and the integrity of pre-programmed slot machines. No, I don't think that, actually. It is complete. Like, I think there are some ridings where some hinky business took place, for sure, especially in that Quebec riding where it was like one vote and it was completely screwed up. And then in British Columbia where like votes just turned up later. There are some ridings, but not enough to make a difference. I really, truly believe that it's an East-West split that did this. And we can't vote any harder conservative. We just can't.
Right.
And it's Paul Newman, $6.99. Alberta and Saskatchewan need to pass a law that says if Canada ever joined the EU, that it would trigger binding independence referendums within 6 months. Well, as you know, Alberta has a policy resolution, and I think it coming into law, where if the national government joins treaties and agreements that we disagree with, we'll just invoke the Sovereignty Act.
Right. You can opt out of whatever.
We're not cooperating.
Right.
So, which is, I mean, it'll be unnecessary in the new country. We'll just, if there's a treaty we want to sign on to, we will. And if we don't, we don't.
Right.
But until such time, we have that in Alberta. And I'd love to see that in Saskatchewan too.
Oh, me too.
P. Schofield 10 gives us $5. Make an Ann's Day, reminder of the 533 million firearms privately owned by the grubby, uncouth Yanks. Yeah. There's also that too.
There's also that. It's not just the military that has might.
Why China never invaded them, right? Like, what did they say? Like, there's a gun behind every blade of grass in the United States.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then our government is actively trying to disarm 2.5-ish million Canadian gun owners in this country.
Wild. It's a wild time to be alive, guys. Yeah.
Crazy time to be alive, and it just drives Western independence. Okay, I've got to go. If that's all the chats, I've got a story to work on. Lise, thank you so much for joining me last weekend, helping me with the story in Drayton Valley, and then doing the show with me today. And then I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, same place, same time, guys. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Western Wednesdays tomorrow we'll have a panel show, so that'll be fun. Olivia, thanks for bringing up the things that I called for out of order. Appreciate you for that. I really should prep more for the show, but I was recording other things. That's it for the show. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for interacting with our work. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Same hosts with a couple of other people, hopefully. And as we say on the show here, if you find us offensive, maybe don't find us at all.
Another big issue that's going to come up this week is this board of peace that President Trump is keen on. I'm not sure whether it's for Gaza or for the entire world, but apparently Canada's been invited. Are you going to join?
We have been invited, and let me start by, I think we should recognize the progress that has been made in at least getting towards the end of the first phase of this process. And the activation, if I can put it that way, of the process to set up the Board of Peace is the start of phase 2. Our view is, and that's to be welcomed, and this is a positive vehicle. Our view is we need to work on the actual structure of the vehicle. You just referenced, is it for Gaza? Well, the UN resolution, Security Council Resolution 2803, references a Board of Peace for Gaza. That's where we see it becoming immediately operative, and it needs to be, in our view, it's better to be designed in that way for the immediate needs there. There are many other needs around the world, first point. Second point, it needs to coincide with the immediate full flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. We are still not where we need to be. Conditions still are horrific. So that needs to come alongside. We think there's aspects of the governance and the decision-making process that could be improved, but we will work with others, obviously work with the United States, because we will do anything that we can to improve the situation, the horrific situation there, and to move onto a path to a true two-state solution.